From the Opepco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for our inbox segment. We take your questions from email and answer them here on video. Barry, it's all Thunder all the time this week in the inbox. Let's get right to it. This first question comes from Mike. Mike says, now would be a good time for the Thunder Brass to remember the old principle that things are never as good or as bad as they seem. Just don't overreact.
I love this email. I thought this is not really a question, it's just a statement. I thought it was a statement of fact. I thought it was fabulous because that's what we all want to do. We all want to overreact. James Harden gets traded, the world's coming to an end. Kendrick Perkins can't play a lick of offense against the Grizzlies, the world's coming to an end. Derek Fisher misses 20-something straight shots, the world's coming to an end. But that's not the way franchises that are elite conduct themselves. They stay the course, they have a plan. If the plan's been working, they stick to it. They don't get pushed off their mark. The Thunder has shown that it knows what it's doing. So Russell Westbrook's injury was most unfortunate, but if Russell is fine, there's a very good chance the Thunder's back in the NBA Finals. There is no reason to overreact.
I wrote this very thing the night of the loss that knocked the Thunder out of the playoffs. And, there were definitely things that happened during that series against the Grizzlies that you might want to think about reacting, whether it's, Kendrick Perkins' play on the offensive end, whether it's some of the moves that Scott Brooks made or didn't make as a coach. You might think, some changes need to be made. Listen, Barry's right. The Westbrook injury changes everything and it really put the pressure on a lot of different people, and some reacted well and some didn't react as well as you would hope. So I think that the Thunder management recognizes this. They're not, to me, Barry, they have not set themselves up as an overreactive bunch. I don't think they're going to do it now. They haven't done it in the past, and it's been a pretty good setup so far. All right, back to the inbox. This one from Gary. Gary says, I see our center got his average again in Game 5 against Memphis. 2 points and a whopping 3 rebounds. Okay, is Gary one of the overreactors, Barry?
I think Gary is a classic overreactor. Kendrick Perkins, 2 points, 3 rebounds. Well, on a good night, Kendrick Perkins is going to get 4 points and 5 rebounds. So exactly how far off was he the mark? Perkins did not play well. But this is not a team built around a center to post big numbers. The Thunder doesn't need big numbers out of Kendrick Perkins. It needs him to play tough defense, rebound some, and don't get in the way on offense. And the truth of the matter is, Perkins played very well on defense against the Grizzlies. The Thunder defense against Memphis was very good. It was well enough to win. The Thunder just couldn't score against Memphis. Kendrick Perkins did his job on defense. Now, he was terrible on offense. They can't live with that. He's got to be better than that. But everybody was out of sync with Westbrook gone. Everybody tried to do too much. When Kendrick Perkins tries to do too much, then it's a disaster. The Thunder's going to be fine next season with Kendrick Perkins in the middle because he anchors the defense. They've got guys that can score. They need Perkins for defense, and he will provide it.
You don't want Kendrick Perkins to take enough shots to score 10 or 12 points a game because that takes shots out of the hands of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Do you want them to have less shots? I don't think so. But I'll tell you what, I think an area where Kendrick Perkins can be better is rebounding the ball. I think, he can get better both offensively and defensively on both ends of the court, being better rebounding the ball. Those numbers have dropped in the last couple years with him, and I think he can be a better rebounder. I think he acknowledges that. So I think that's an area where we can see him be more of a stat stuffer. But the points, does anybody want shots taken away from the Durants and the Westbrooks on this team? I don't think so. No. All right, back to the inbox. This one from OCPD. I think it's a no-brainer to get rid of Kevin Martin, Kendrick Perkins, and Derek Fisher and try to get some scores. Can you discuss these issues, Barry? Did we start with the no overreaction and go to the overreaction group?
I don't think people understand how the Thunder has won. The Thunder was the number 4 defensive team in the NBA this season. 4th. They were 11th a year ago, improved to 4th this season in defensive efficiency.
And one of the top offensive teams as well, which is unbelievable.
Second in offense, 4th in defense. That's how the Thunder has built this team. They built this team around a couple of 2 or 3 high-level scorers, and then everybody else plays a role and plays tough defense. They don't need more scoring. Thunder was 2nd in the league in scoring. They just need to play as well as they did, and hopefully everybody stays healthy and you get to the NBA Finals and take your shots at whoever's there. So, no, you don't gut the roster. You don't change your course. You don't say we're going to trade defense for offense. The Thunder has actually more room to improve on defense than on offense.
Now, the question of Kevin Martin, Derek Fisher, and Kendrick Perkins. Obviously, I don't think Kendrick Perkins is going anywhere, nor do I think he should. But those two other guys are likely to not be back with the Thunder just because as free agents and the contracts that they have, the Thunder probably needs to look at some cheaper options. I mean, I don't think they can pay Kevin Martin anywhere close to what he'd want, Barry.
No, he's probably gone.
Yeah, so some of those guys, they are going to be gone, but that's more of an issue of money as opposed to needs and those sorts of things. They're going to rely on some of those younger guys. You're going to be looking at, can Jeremy Lamb step up and be more of that Kevin Martin player in the second rotation? We'll have to see. But those guys, there will be some changes, but not because anybody wants to gut the roster and totally make over this team. All right, lastly, question from Mark in the inbox. Mark says, the Thunder was one player short of a championship team. After Westbrook went down, 2. Where and when are we going to get that third player? I assume he means third to Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook's 1-2.
Right, and the truth is, I don't know that the Thunder needed that. They had 3 last season. It didn't get them the title. You have to have a star. You generally need 2 stars to win an NBA title. You don't always need 3. And frankly, the Thunder has a guy who's up and coming and getting better by the year, and that's Serge Ibaka. He had a huge jump this season offensively. No reason to think he can't continue to improve. He's played less than basketball than virtually everybody in the NBA. So this is a guy that's going to continue to get better and improve. But again, the third big-time scorer might not be necessary. Lots of champions don't have that. Some do, but not all. Dallas didn't. Certainly, Miami didn't when they won with Shaq and Dwayne Wade. So you don't have to have it. The Lakers didn't when they had Kobe and Paul Gasol. So it's not necessary, but you might have it anyway with Serge. He averaged 13.7, I think, points a game. No reason why he doesn't get into the 15-point range next season.
And remember, last year, he, like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, he spent the summer playing with a national team. He was with the Spanish national team heading into the Olympics. So it was more of a playing off-season than a development off-season. So if he really spends the next few months working on really some specialized areas of his game, we could see him take another big jump next year. And if you're talking about having a third option, whether it's Serge Ibaka or somebody else, obviously having 3 great players would be a huge luxury. It is for any team in the NBA. You're not going to get it from off the roster as far as I'm concerned. It's going to have to be somebody that comes from within when you're talking about staying under the salary cap. This team can't go out and acquire some free agent that has a big salary. It's just not going to happen because of the restrictions of the luxury tax. If they do that, the chance to really get in a financial bind goes way up, and then you're talking about blowing up the roster and having several years of a not good team. Do you want that? I don't think anybody wants that.
No, not at all.
All right. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.